Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I'm doing another horror review because I've been watching a lot of horror films lately and I love horror movies, and I wish I had a horror channel where I could just review horror films and talk about paranormal stuff all day. But I have a Madonna Star Trek channel, so that's what I talk about. No, actually, no, I talk about whatever I'm interested in. I should be pandering specifically to what the subscribers have subscribed for, and that would actually help. But yeah, I don't play that game. I don't play to the base. If something interests me, I talk about it. And this film has always interested me. Rosemary's Killer, partly just the name is just great, and the poster work, the art for the DVD, I always liked, always sort of wanted to watch it. It was also called The Prowler, and it was sort of mostly famous because the effects were done by Tom Savini, and they're quite amazing. His horror effects, you can't really say beauty in relation to murder and carnage, but the way he stages and photographs and does all these effects is quite amazing. Now, the story itself, I remember really loving this film when I first saw it on video a long time ago. Something about the atmosphere, the tone, I really enjoyed. When watching it the second time, or watching it again after all these years, I didn't feel that as much. And I think that's just the first scene, sort of, I was like, oh, this is really good. And I forgot the rest of the film becomes more of a conventional sort of teens sort of stalked around a dorm sort of environment. It's not as good as like the first section of the film where they're setting up the killer in the first place. But still, it's pretty good. The main character is kind of believable, kind of likable. There's a few people that sort of aren't, and a few scenarios that are a bit off, but the makeup sort of makes up for it. The killing sort of make up for it, and sometimes you're like, yeah, this whole scenario is just here so this thing can be done to this person in this effect. And there are a few red herrings and a few scenarios that I don't know if they ever played well the first time, but when you sort of know sort of what's happening, they don't play as well. So it's kind of hard when you reviewed something, you watch something again, to sort of remember how you saw it the first time. But not much more to say about this film. It has nice atmosphere at the start. It's got a nice setting. It's a good old 80s film where something happened like 20 years ago and now it's coming back. And it sort of reminds me of My Bloody Valentine, because it's sort of similar. This is more like a campus film, whereas that one was more of a small town sort of mining town film where, you know, they sort of had something happened in the community 20 years ago and then it's come back. And people are aware of the original killing, and the father of Rosemary, who was killed, is still on the campus, and he's one of the red herrings for a minute there. And this is all very interesting, but not as atmospheric as I remember. A lot more just a couple of students sort of being stalked in the dorm, and the makeup makes up for it. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Rosemary's Killer. It always, I think, because of Rosemary's Baby, I always sort of think of those two films together. It was called The Prowler, and I should have mentioned the guy who is sort of the killer dresses as a Marine, because when he came back from the war, his girl had, you know, left him for another guy, and that's why he killed her in the beginning of the film. And that's why is he back? You know, what's happening? It's a bit of a mystery, and it does kind of work. But not as well as I remember the first time. But, you know, I was a lot younger. I was watching it on VHS. Yeah, and I probably watched it in amongst probably 5 other horror movies that night that I'd rented probably 7 out for the week or something. But, yeah, I'm going to go.